Hello guys, my name is Anna and I'm a Ukrainian, and I have decided I will vlog daily from my country Ukraine since the start of this awful war with Russia. And in my daily videos I try to update you on the important real-life situations in my country Ukraine. And of course I'm always glad to answer your questions and to clarify some facts about our history, our culture, our background, or whatever interests you. And today I have decided I will tell you a little bit more about Zelenskyy's family, as I had a separate video where I described the changes of my attitude towards President Zelensky during this war. And now I think maybe there are things you would like to know. If something that I won't mention, you can continue asking in the questions in the comments section. So what inspired me to talk about that is the photo session of the First Lady and President Zelenskiy made by Annie Leibovitz, who is a world-famous photographer for the Vogue. And I have even asked you to comment how do you feel about that, whether you like this photo session. And I would say that like the majority, 90+% told me that you definitely like the photo session. Some people told me it's not the time for fashion magazines, but the majority agreed it's an important platform to attract attention to Ukraine as this war continues and we still need much of the world's support. In Ukraine, the reaction was pretty controversial and many people did not like this photo session. By the way, if you haven't seen it, you can visit my community tab or something on my channel, something similar to Facebook wall, where I have shared the photo that was much discussed and also a link to the article in Vogue. Or you can simply Google and you will see that this is an artistic kind of photo set, and here in Ukraine many people reacted that they did not like this artistic approach during the wartime, and also that the First Lady did not look natural because we know her more and she's not like a tomboy girl, and one of the first pictures resembles her that way. But in country, many people started reacting, showing that previous first ladies were definitely worse, especially the wife of Yanukovych, and I have to be kind, but you can also Google and see her. But it's not about her face, it's about the things that she said, her behavior, their relationships, and so on. So Olena Zelenska is definitely a very pretty woman. She is the only wife of President Zelenskiy, and they have met back at the university. They have studied together in Kryvyi Rih, and her specialization is architecture. But starting from the university times, they were working together in the comedy show, and we all know that she was one of the script writers for this comedy show, which means that she has a good sense of humor, a sarcastic and ironic sense of humor that is somehow totally invisible during her First Lady term. She definitely kept low profile at the beginning of his presidency, and I cannot say that she spoke a lot or she initiated many things. She was mainly working with some changes of school dietary, like together with some famous Ukrainian chefs, changing the products and the foods, because many of the offers dinners were classical from the Soviet times and they were more concerned about the beauty and usefulness of the product. Also, she was initiating some campaigns to make first ladies and first gentlemen to cooperate. Also some things with people with disabilities, children, but I cannot tell you that she was very prominent, visible, and even during his campaign, which is surprising taking into account that people from his close circle say that she is the one to lead in the family, and she's also one of the authors of this comedy show, so she's not like a wifey wife, and she must be really active, and she was always active in his career and maybe even from this administrative part. So she is definitely like an interesting person, and I cannot tell you that I visualize or I feel what kind of person she is. From what I know, President loves her and respects her opinion, and many people before his presidential campaign, during his tours and so on, they were speaking that to have no problems with Zelensky, you have to discuss that with his wife. So she had some kind of control over him. but it's not visible right now. I think it's good because like people still like in Ukraine, we are more like, I cannot say patriarchic because women rule in Ukraine, but at the same time, for many people, it's important that the president is like masculine. Also, I have never read about his affairs as something taken into account. He's an actor and a comedian. It was never on the press, which says that perhaps their life and love story is real. They have two children, a girl that is almost 18 and a boy that is younger. And once again, you cannot see many of photos of his children, and even before the war. After the war, it's totally understandable. At the beginning of war, we did not see the First Lady, and many people claim that she can be somewhere abroad and wanted to raise a wave of hatred, but they failed. And personally, I think that Zelenskiy's family, they were a target, and definitely it was really easy to manipulate his family. So even if they were outside Ukraine, for me as a citizen of Ukraine, it's totally okay, because the fear, the nervousness for his family could distract him and make him, I don't know, negotiate or do some mistakes, because he's definitely a family man. So for some, it was a serious problem that so many women are doing something and she is not visible. But I don't think. She says she was in Ukraine, but hidden somewhere, and both versions are totally acceptable for me. Hidden somewhere in Ukraine or hidden somewhere outside Ukraine. But later she returned back, and more than 2 months or 2.5 months, she's very active in cultural diplomacy. She visits lots of places. She speaks with the first ladies. Recently, she had a visit to the United States. And she participates in various photo sessions. She does not like critique. She always reacts to that. And also to this photo session, she was explaining that that is my job. You know, during the war, people get nervous, and sometimes like they blame each other. But in general, the situation is positive, and people support the presidential couple. And the photo session, especially when they are together, and when he looks at her, you can see love is present. And that is important, because people who can love each other, can love their country, can understand what is that fear, emotions for the children and the rest of the world. I do believe it's important to be able to love, to be able to experience feelings like that. And about his other side of his family, his parents, Zelenskiy's parents are, his father is a doctor of technical sciences, and he is the head of a department working in the fields of geology and engineering, and his mother is an engineer, and he does not have any siblings. He's the only child, and his family looks pretty simple. He had lots of photos from their flat, the food they eat, and nothing luxurious. And I do believe it's kind of honest. And there were no particular scandals. And one of the reasons why people actually supported him so hard for this elections was the fact that he was like coming from ordinary people. Of course, he was quite rich and definitely very famous at the moment of the start of his campaign, but it was done by him, not just like coming from an oligarch family or something like that. Anyway, for me, he changed my attitude for 100%, much better than I had before during this war, because he demonstrated himself to be brave, to be strong, and not to defeat. And that is why he is a good president of war, and we continue supporting him. But he is very jealous, by the way. When someone else becomes very popular, like the head of the Ukrainian armed forces or something, he wants to like hide these people a little bit. This is also true about him. And some people compare him to Napoleon and various Napoleon complexes. I think it's present, but this does not stop him from being a normal person and a good president for these times. Please let me know if you like your first ladies. That's a question that interests me. Who are your first ladies and how do you feel about them? And do you think they must be active in political life? That is interesting, so please feel free to comment below this video. Thank you very much for buying me coffee. Thank you very much for becoming my patrons, and do subscribe to my channel. This is very important as war in Ukraine continues. We need more and more people to get the updates about Ukraine and don't get used to war. This is totally abnormal and it is dangerous not only for Ukraine but the world in general. So please subscribe, share, comment, whatever you do, that is important. Slava Ukraini!